Yeah, all of you vilifying the ICE agent, well, your argument just went out the window. This is going to rapidly change the way that we're all seeing this. Wow, I'm just dumbfounded. I just caught this. It broke about 20 minutes ago, but we're going to watch the whole video and then break it down. And then I'm going to share with you my reaction. And then I'm going to share with you a response that I gave to a rather ignorant comment that was left in the last video that it shocked me, but it's such a recurring dumb argument that I had to break it down. So let's cut to the footage and watch this entire video.
With the very latest on what's happening there. Garrett, good afternoon.
Yeah, Trace, good afternoon. This new video will be a crucial piece of evidence in this investigation because it was recorded by the agent himself, and it shows the events leading up to the shooting from his point of view. Here is that entire video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to this new video on X saying, many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed, and murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. No response to the new video from city officials, but earlier today, Mayor Jacob Fry doubled down on his belief that this was a reckless abuse of power and that any argument that this agent feared for his life are BS.
Oh, man. So there you have it. There you have it. I don't know what the argument is going to be now that we've seen this irrefutable evidence. He got hit. I'm sure they'll come up with some type of explanation, but it doesn't erase the fact that she shouldn't have been there in the first place. And we just had video that was released earlier this morning that showed where she was there parked on the street and blocking the traveled way for 3 to 4 minutes before the incident went down. Oh, I tell you what, this is just, it's sad that the first reaction to this from people on the left was to only consider what happened from the point where the gun was fired, but not the events that led up to the shooting. So the assumptions were made and everybody ran with it that the ICE officer just murdered this innocent person. I guess it was another peaceful protest. There's still people out there saying that, you know, these are peaceful protests. I don't understand it. I don't know what's peaceful about parking your car in the middle of the street, long ways, not even in traffic, but just completely perpendicular to the direction of traffic to stop federal agents from pulling out and exiting a scene where they just arrested an illegal. I don't know what the explanation for that is. And I made a point in the last video. Is this something that you would do to police officers or highway patrol? What's next? Are we going to see people that block highway patrolmen when they're pulling over a drunk driver on the side of the road? Are we going to stop our car and go and ram a highway patrolman or block the highway so that they cannot arrest, remove, and take that person to jail? Would that be okay? Or let's say there's a bank robbery going on, but we're against banks and rich people. So whenever we see police surrounding a bank and they're dragging out a person that was robbing the bank, are we going to block the street so they can't get that person removed and taken down to the station to throw them in jail where they belong? So this is vigilantism to the highest degree, all because politicians have brainwashed people into thinking that ICE has no federal authority to arrest, detain, and deport illegal aliens, even though this has been going on practically in every single presidential administration since the laws were created. But somehow we want to ignore those laws. Now, let me show you a comment that was made on the last video. This one shocked me, and I had to get a little rude in it, so please forgive me for the rudeness of the response. But let's just check this out. So here we have it. We got this individual, Flying Fish Surf, what a great name, who said Border Patrol and Greg Bovino have no business inside Minneapolis. ICE is nothing more than a parliamentary unit. They are the secret police. They are absolutely political, and it's disgraceful to call them officers. Wake up, MF. Now, that's what set me off. Now, you can make your point, but if you're going to use vulgarity and call me an MF, well, I'm going to come right back at you, being just as rude, but then I'm going to state the facts. So let me just read my response. And again, I apologize for the rudeness of the first part of it before I get to the facts of the matter. So, in my response, I said, you are impossibly dense. If you actually believe that, learn to read. Rather than cursing me, go back to grade school and learn how to read. And then read the federal laws where you find out more about Greg Bovino's authority, including ICE agents. So here's a summary of the federal laws for you. If you don't like these laws, well, move to Mogadishu or somewhere else where there aren't any laws. Now, I did do a prior video where I proved to you that there is no first world country on planet Earth that has open borders without any restrictions or laws about illegal entries. But we'll just set that aside and let's find out if Greg Bovino and ICE officers are authorized by law. First, we have U.S. 1.8, USC 1226, authority to arrest and detain. This statute, look it up yourself if you don't believe it, this statute authorizes the federal government to arrest and detain individuals pending removal proceedings. It is one of the two primary statutes identified in a Congressional Research Service analysis. Next, we have USC 1357, powers of immigration officers. This would be Greg Bovino and the ICE officers. This is the big one. It gives immigration officers, including ICE agents, the power to do the following: interrogate individuals about their right to be in the U.S., arrest without warrant if they have a reason to believe that a person is removable and likely to escape before a warrant can be obtained, execute warrants for arrest and removal, and finally, board and search vehicles within a reasonable distance from the border. So it's kind of funny where they say, well, the Border Patrol, they can't be up in Minnesota because that's not the border. So I guess if a person illegally crosses the border and they make it far enough inland, well, they're scot-free, right? Border Patrol is far from the border, so we can't enforce immigration laws at that point. Well, that's a pipe dream. That's ridiculous and absurd. All right, continuing on. This statute is implemented through federal regulations such as 8 CFR 287.5, which outlines how ICE officers exercise these powers. Here we go. USC 1231, detention and removal after a final order. Once an immigration judge issues a final removal order, this statute governs mandatory detention during the removal period and ICE's authority to physically deport the individual. ICE's authority comes from Congress, not from any president or executive order. The core legal foundation is 8 USC 1226, 1231, and 1357, which give ICE the power to identify and remove aliens, detain them, conduct arrests, and carry out deportations. These statutes have been in place for decades and are the backbone of federal immigration enforcement. Now, what do we do about that? What do we do? Ignore it? So these are laws on the books, have been there for decades, but we're supposed to ignore it, have an open border, and just hand over the United States to the entire world and say, hey, come on in, it's a free-for-all. So rather than enforcing the law, we're supposed to let the Somalian community flood people into Minnesota. A lot of them are here legally, but a lot of them are not here legally. But we're supposed to let them come in, steal $8 billion, and then claim that ICE has no authority to move in and remove the ones that are here illegally. And furthermore, the governor, Tim Walz, claims we don't need anyone from the federal government coming in here. We will take care of this. Oh, really? So the very administration of the state of Minnesota that allowed the $9 billion to be stolen while cracking down on the whistleblowers, threatening them with firings, with tracking down family members, and even tracking their kids down. We're supposed to let them handle this. The very people who allowed it all to happen and were complicit, not just complicit, but directly involved in the theft. So we're supposed to hand it over to them and tell the federal government, up yours. We don't want you here. Stay the F out of Minnesota. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But we're going to continue to report on this. I thought I would share that video in this response. And I'm going to be doing a lot more responses to comments in video and voice. So if you really have a good comment or an ugly and hateful comment, don't be surprised to see a video response from me right there in the comments. So a lot of you, if you're looking for some good entertainment, you might want to dig through the comments, because you're going to see me reacting directly to some of these idiotic comments and people who want to get vulgar and throw insults because they don't like U.S. law. So rather than putting the attention on talking to your congressman, your senator, and saying, hey, go to Congress, go back to Washington, D.C., and get a bill passed that throws out all immigration law. No, we don't want to do that. We just want to be vigilantes and roll around trying to track down ICE agents and blocking their way when they are arresting and detaining individuals for deportation. Post it in the comments and let me know what you think about that. Do you think that we should change the laws? Do you think that we should ignore the laws that are on the books? Do you think it's right that these so-called politicians in Minnesota are basically telling the people, hey, rise up and let's act out against ICE agents and be vigilantes. Let's ignore the law and let's just wreak havoc and make life a pure hell for the federal government while they're trying to do their job. Forget the fact that Joe Biden pulled in 20 million people and caused this problem in the first place. Forget that. Let's just go out here and raise hell, cause havoc, and stand in the way of federal agents who have a job to do to get these 20 million people that were allowed into the country over the past 4 years. This just doesn't make any sense to me. I'll be looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are about it. I'm out.